Well, what really brought down Bear Stearns? Former CEO of Bear Stearns, Jimmy Cayne, gave his take at yesterday's hearing on Capitol Hill.
Conspiracies and rumors. The firm came under attack, all part of a picture of a big fat goose walking down a lane that's about to get eaten up alive. I heard the same rumors. Rumor, innuendo, market rumor. Those rumors, I'm not going to use the word conspiracy. Regardless of whether there's a conspiracy or not, conspiracies. I'm not an expert on conspiracy.
Did they attempt to find one to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, no. Concerns were unfounded. Were they at that time unfounded? And my answer is yes, at that time they were unfounded.
Well, a lot of rumors were being talked about yesterday. Now, today, former Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson and the current Secretary Tim Geithner are set to appear before the very same panel, and in fact, starting in about 20 minutes' time. Al Hunt is the executive editor of Bloomberg News, joining us now from Washington. And Al, what did you think of the hearings yesterday? I mean, were Schwartz and were Cayne, I mean, were they successful or more successful than the others who testified?
Not particularly, Betty. It was rather surreal in a way. It was almost, we just played the piano. We had no idea what was going on upstairs. On Monday, everything was great. Thursday, things were terrible. Forces beyond anyone's control, no one's fault. Really, it was really rather strange testimony, and I suspect not terribly persuasive.
And your view of the committee and how they did?
Well, it's an interesting committee. I'm not quite sure what to make of it yet. There's some people who come in with strong views on one side. Brooksy Bourne, the former CFTC chairperson, clearly thinks tougher regulation was necessary and is necessary. Peter Wallison, a former Reagan counsel, thinks the market ought to be the determinant. This commission so far hasn't gelled yet, but let's not forget, Betty, back in 1932, they named something called the Pecora Commission. For 2 years, they floundered, and then suddenly at the very end, in May of '34, they came up with a wide-ranging, sweeping report that ushered in incredibly important reforms.
Yeah, that's a good, to put that in historical context. But Al, yesterday we were talking to Harvey Pitt, the former SEC chairman, and he's been very critical of the panel, saying that it's basically just become this, the dueling sound bites on this, at these hearings. I mean, how seriously do those in Washington take this panel?
Betty, I think people don't know. It's really a little bit below the radar screen. There's so much future shock going on with Goldman Sachs hearings and legislation and the like that it really hasn't been high on the agenda. The Pecora Commission, I suspect, was like that 75 years ago, too. I think the key person on this commission, is the Vice Chairman, Bill Thomas, a quasi-populist, conservative Republican, former congressman, very tough, very smart, not quite sure where he wants to go.
Okay, and Al, all of this, of course, is in the context of financial regulatory reform and the bill that's going through the Senate. How influential will this be on this debate?
It won't be terribly influential, and that this debate is well underway anyway. There have been other factors that have helped shape the bill. There are compromises going on. These are just hearings that are being held. So I don't think that the legislation, which is likely to be passed by the Senate, perhaps by Memorial Day and through the entire Congress by this summer, will be very much shaped by this commission.
Okay. All right, Al, good to talk with you as always. Al Hunt, our Bloomberg executive editor over in Washington.